Okay, so this is part 2 of the Grenadier HVAC system. What you're looking at now is the rear of the unit. So this is basically facing the firewall and engine bay. You can see on the top here is the expansion valve for the evaporator. Now I've unscrewed this and I've kind of moved it a little bit forwards. So if I just remove this, we can then see inside the box. Now this is the evaporator coming off there. As I said before, all air that comes in from here, which is where the blower fan is connected to, goes through this. All of it. Now this of course may not have any pressurized refrigerant in it. It's circulating through it, but still, that's basically what happens. So if we move back over to the box, we can see there's a temperature sensor in there, which was obviously pushed into the fins of the evaporator. I guess just making sure that it doesn't ice up. And this is the bottom of the unit. You can see right in the middle there the drain hole for the water condensation. And what we're looking at now is the actual hot water core. Now what's slightly strange about this is that there is a small gap here where air doesn't go through the heater core, but will ultimately have just been through the evaporator. It's not very big at all. And if we look at these flaps, we can see this is the defrost flap. So if I push that down like that, it pushes this flap here and gives this tiny gap, which really is not much bigger than my finger. So potentially some cold air, some ice cold air can go through here, and that would end up most likely in the face level vents. But it really isn't very much. I mean, obviously it's going to take, I guess, the easiest path through, but that is going to end up face level, because if we come down here, I think in the last video I suggested that this top opening here was for the face level vents, but I think I must have got that wrong. I must have mixed it up somehow. So in this particular case, the defrost vent is closed and the face level vent is open. So these flaps really only control the airflow. They don't really control the temperature. The temperature is controlled by the water valve and whether or not the AC compressor is on. As far as I can tell anyway. I mean, these flaps are really not going to do much to the temperature of the air. So this flap, you see, moves up like that, and it then pushes a second flap here, which then closes this off completely. I think in this mode you've got air going to the face vents, and depending on the position of the bypass flap inside here, which you can just about see, as to whether or not the air goes to your feet. So obviously if that's closed, all of the air is literally being blasted out through this vent here, this one here. So that's how that goes. When it's in defrost mode, that is closed, so air is then only going through the heater core, because this little tiny gap now is now closed off by this flap, And so you basically get this, which is defrost mode, and the air of course can be bypassed again to the feet. So if this bypass flap in here is closed, then you've got total defrost mode, where all the air is going through the evaporator, all the air is going through the heater core, and all the air is coming out of this vent here, and that's defrost mode. So it really isn't complicated. It's just, I think, what the issue is possibly the control of it, is the control of the actuators. And also, of course, as I keep going on about, this water valve here being stuck open or not being commanded to close or whatever. I don't know which variation it is, but whatever it is, that is remaining open, and you're going to get extremely hot air if that remains open, because you've got the full heat of the coolant all being forced through your heater core and then ultimately into the cabin. Not ideal if it's a hot day. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. There's not much more I can say about that, because there isn't much more to look at. 3 actuators controlling 4 flaps, I think, because this actuator at the top controls 2 flaps with this sort of weird kind of cam type mechanism on the side of it, which, there we go. It's potentially this one that gets stuck, actually, because the actuator is trying to close 2 or open 2 flaps at the same time, which is why possibly some people get this sort of clonking noise, which is basically this. Okay, so that's basically it. Any more questions, let me know. I'm not sure what else there is to show here, but who knows, maybe there is. So, bye for now.